I think Firefox is a very underrated web browser. And despite all the crap Mozilla does and all the hate they get for it, which they kind of deserve, in my opinion, but despite that, Firefox still remains probably one of the best web browsers out there. And now I've been using Firefox for a number of years at this point, and I've configured it and extended it in various ways that I kind of want to show you. And I kind of want to show you guys how you can configure and extend it as well. So I actually have a script, a Firefox setup script that I made for setting up Firefox, as the name implies. And this essentially gets rid of all the bloat and crap that comes with Firefox by default, because by default Firefox has things like certain extensions enabled by default, or certain settings or trackers and advertisements, which you can get rid of completely or disable. Unlike other browsers like Chrome or Chromium or all those other browsers, you can actually configure and extend it to disable all that stuff and enable sane normal features. So I have this script that basically all it does is generates a Firefox profile, installs ArchinFox, which basically disables all those ads, trackers, all those crappy features. Adds some of my personal settings, which I have a file over here, extra.js, which disables some things I don't want or enables some things I do want. Like I don't want auto updates. Like I don't get auto updates. I have a Linux package manager, and all these different things. So it does that, and then it installs extensions that I want and enables them, and then finally it gets rid of or disables Google as the default search engine, because Mozilla currently has a deal with Google. I'm not sure how much money they get for it, but where Google pays Mozilla to have Google as their default search engine in Firefox. This goes ahead and disables that as well as Bing, because nobody uses Bing. So that's the setup script, and some of the so that's how I set up all these settings for Firefox and get some of these interesting features from Firefox. Now some of the extensions that I have are very useful. So Ublock Origin, probably the best ad blocker out there. This is one of the reasons I actually switched from Qt browser, which was my previous web browser, to Firefox. Was because of Ublock Origin. This is, in my opinion, the gold standard of ad blockers. It blocks everything. Advertisements everywhere, heck, even ads on YouTube videos, which are very invasive. So this is the gold standard for ad block. In fact, I think Chrome is actually removing support for Ublock Origin, or it's quite complicated, but suffice to say, Firefox is keeping Ublock, which I'm very thankful for. And it has all these different settings you can configure, like filter lists, custom filters, custom rules, as well as trusted sites you don't want to block stuff on. And heck, you can even disable JavaScript if you want to, if that's that's your thing. In fact, there's one really cool feature of Ublock, which is this little zap icon, which can basically temporarily remove an element in any given web page. So I can remove, if I want to remove this part right here of GitHub, boom, there we go. That element isn't there anymore. Of course, this is temporary, so if I refresh the page, you'll see it'll reappear, but this can be useful in certain situations. Like, for example, from time to time, although I don't recommend you use Facebook or Facebook Marketplace, from time to time I do go to Facebook Marketplace, and one really annoying thing I have to deal with is, because I don't have a Facebook account, once you scroll a certain amount of time down the page, Facebook will block you from scrolling any further or doing anything else. It'll prompt you to create a Facebook account, but I bypass that by just getting rid of that entirely using Ublock Origin, and so I can scroll down a bit further and look at whatever stuff I'm looking at. So that's very useful. The next extension I have is Decentraliz. Now, Decentraliz, there's these things called CDNs, content delivery networks, and they're basically there to deliver content, on the web faster. Resources, websites, stuff like that. But they're often used to actually track you. And so this basically just blocks them entirely and has the page load normally. The next extension I have is clear URLs. And this filters out tracking or logging URLs out of your browser, so that's useful. I still don't care about cookies. This one has been surprisingly useful too. It's those pop-ups you get for enabling or disabling cookies or configuring cookie settings or whatever. This just gets rid of those entirely. Saves a lot of frustration. Libredirect. This one's pretty nice as well. It basically directs common websites, like for example Twitter. It'll redirect Twitter to knitter.com, which is a open source front end for Twitter. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you. So if I type in twitter.com, it'll redirect to a knitter instance. And you can do this for many websites. I can redirect YouTube to different open source YouTube front ends, or Reddit, or Wikipedia, or really any of the list of any of these things. So this is a real good extension for not having to use these crappy front ends for things. And then tridactyl. I have tridactyl, which is it basically turns Firefox into something very similar to Qt browser, where you can navigate using Vim keys. So, for example, I can use H, J, K, and L to scroll up and down or left to right. I can use O to search something, so I'll just search Firefox, and once it'll search using my default search engine. There we go. And I can open a new tab and search for something. I'll just type in Linux, and I'll go ahead and do that. And you can press D to get rid of a tab, or I can use capital H and L to navigate the tabs. So basically, the key bindings are very similar to what's in Qt browser. And if I ever need help, I can type in help, and it'll pull up this web page with a bunch of help for tridactyl. So that's a very useful extension that basically turns it into something very similar to Qt browser. And finally, I also have this one extension right here, which I've been kind of playing around with a bit, but haven't used it that often. And that's new window without toolbar. And so if you right click, you can select this option that says new window without toolbar, and as the name implies, it'll open a new Firefox window without the toolbar up here. And this is good for presenting things where you don't want this ugly little toolbar right here. And this can actually be used with tridactyl, so you can actually navigate with Vim keys and search things with tridactyl. And this combined with the new window without toolbar combined with tridactyl gives you a experience very similar to Qt browser. In fact, I can press :WQ to actually quit. And so that's Firefox and how I configure it. And it's a really lots of settings and lots of different things you could configure Firefox with. So that's like I said, very underrated web browser. That's Firefox, and I'll see you guys later.